Hello everyone and welcome to Coffee with Ceri. Now, if you're not familiar with Coffee with Ceri, it's where myself, Ceri Griffiths, chooses a topic, just something that may have crossed my path, something that may have popped into my head, any of those things, just something I think I should raise the awareness of, or maybe it's a starting topic for you to talk to someone else. I'm just planting a seed of something you think upon. I try never to be argumentative. I try to put both sides of whatever I'm talking about. So if it's for you, then it's for you. If it's not, I'm not here to offend anyone. So anyway, without going into detail, because I'm emotionally not ready to do that just yet, I've just gone through quite a traumatic couple of months, to be honest with you. There's no other way to say it. My sister passed away in September, completely unexpected, just sudden, and it was, anyway, the ramifications of that is I've just been through, and I'm still going through, a couple of months of legal wranglings, just stuff. I don't want to go down that emotional route at this moment. However, I have spent probably the last 6 weeks dealing with companies and insurance companies and life insurance companies and pension companies and car insurance companies. A lot of that has been spent on the phone. I'm also, as you know, I'm a creative person. I'm not someone who's really good at form filling. I get a bit overwhelmed and panicked about it, but I've had to do it. There's only myself and Biscuit left now, so I've had to do it. I've had friends who have offered to help me with stuff. However, how do you ask for help when they can't help? I'm the only person legally allowed to. Anyway, you get what I mean. And the subject for today is basically what the heck has happened to customer service. Now, I'm going to expand it to more than just phoning companies, because it's something that's been gnawing away at me for years and years and years, and it's something I'm very passionate about, and it makes me very angry. As you know, I'm extremely widely travelled. I mean, I've lived in Australia, I've lived in America, I've worked out of America, I've obviously lived in Britain, I've worked all the way through Europe, I've been in Japan, I've done a lot. I've worked in customer-facing industries all of my life, whether it be as a baker and confectioner, whether it be as a performer, whether it is an artist, whether it's, there have been times when I've waited on tables. There is time when I've been a barman. Don't even ask me about the barman stories. I don't drink that much. I became infamous for not knowing what I was doing behind a bar. But you know what? Tips were good. The Brit who didn't know what he was doing in Australia was a good job. Anyway, I divert from that. So I have lots of experience of front-facing customer service. Some could say it's a generational thing. Some could say it's my age. I don't know. I can't. Let's give a few examples. Okay, if I walk into a shop, and it's not a huge departmental shop, it's a shop and there's someone behind the counter or someone on the floor and someone behind the counter, I expect someone to look over and go, hello, do you need anything, or can I help you? I would immediately say, no thank you, I'd just like to look around. That's the way I do it. If you start coming over and going, well, what are you looking for? Can I help you with that? You're trying to be nice, but you're crowding me quickest for me to leave the store. Now, if you leave me alone, I'm likely to browse every single article that catches my eye and probably buy something. Also, after about 5 minutes in the store, if you came over and got, have you got any questions? And gave me that opportunity to ask for help if I need it, I'd appreciate that. And then when I'm leaving, if someone shouts across, thank you, if you notice me leaving. I mean, there's not, when it's a busy shop, you don't always know. Just that's sort of what I expect when I go shopping. if I go to a restaurant or a cafe or something, say you walk in and it's got one of those signs, wait to be seated, I don't expect to stand there for 10 minutes while waiters and waitresses walk past me, don't even make eye contact, don't even tell me what's happening, don't even say, oh, could you mind waiting a minute, we're really busy, I'll get to you immediately. All I need is recognition that you know I'm there. There are many times that after about 10 minutes, I'm like, okay, you lost your customer, and I will take myself and any party I'm with out of that restaurant. I don't expect much, but what I do expect is common courtesy and good customer service. Now, I have worked in America. I have worked as a waiter in America, besides lots of other things, but I've been a waiter in America, and I know that when I was working in, well, I worked in a pancake house. When I was working in a pancake house, I was on a minimum wage, as were the rest of us, and then your wages were made up by the gratuities or the tips you got, which were generated by the level of service you gave. Now, granted, I have this wonderful accent, and in America, everyone loved it. However, my care and attention of my clients, I would walk out with a really large amount of money after every shift, and the other wait staff just wouldn't get it. And I'm like, but you're not treating people as if you're special. You're doing just enough to get the job done, and then you're leaving them alone. I said, I'm showing them that I care, and they appreciate that. Over the years, well, it's got to be, let's see, it's got to be about 35 to 40 years I've been going back and forth to the States, even when I wasn't living there. I have found that there's a whole generation of wait staff now that really don't give a damn. They just don't. It's awful because they expect you to tip them anyway. I will not tip unless you've given me good service. And if someone questions it, I will say, well, can I see a supervisor, or would you like me to tell you why I haven't tipped you? I have no qualms about telling someone that, well, you never refilled the water. It's supposed to be a bottomless cup of coffee. I've not seen you once. You've left the plates in front of me forever. Your starters came out. I'd already eaten mine by the time the rest of the people came out with theirs. You brought everyone else's food out, and then mine came out cold because you forgot it on the eat plate. Do you think you should be tipped for that? So, sorry, get myself wound up. So I don't tip unless I think you deserve a tip. I really do understand some companies where they put a given gratuity on the bill, like it's already added. I have, however, in the past put a line through it and gone, I'm not paying the gratuity, I'm only paying for the food if I've had really bad service. And I don't care who you bring out from the back office, I am not paying for something I haven't had. I do understand, my preferred way of going on a vacation is a cruise. Because I'm single, it's a safe place, a safe way for me to travel, and there's a daily gratuity taken from me at my bar bill or my service level, my account, every single day. Now, I don't object to that because, first of all, that saves me trying to work out how to pay the people when it may be I've got a room steward one day and then he's off for 2 days, I've got someone else, and then I've got a waiter this day and then I've got another waiter that day. And do you see what I mean? I prefer the cruise line to do it. Also, the reason the cruise lines do it is the wait staff, the hotel staff, as I call them, the back end staff, are all on quite, it's not a great wage, okay? They depend on their gratuities, but if you're someone who works in the kitchen, you never get to see the customer. The customer doesn't basically know you exist, so you don't get a tip. And by doing this blanket of everyone pays a set amount per day per person, then that pot of money is divided up between the visible people and the invisible people, as I want to call them. So I have no objection to that. So I'm not against gratuities. I'm against giving a gratuity when a gratuity is due. not expecting it. And a lot of people expect a tip. Like here in the UK, we don't run normally on a gratuities basis. So our staff, hopefully, are being paid a reasonable amount of money to do their job and to do it properly. If they get a tip or someone rounds up their bill at the end of the day, that's a perk for them, because we here in the UK are not used to tipping. I mean, we've become a little more used to it because we travel and we've been to other countries where we realise tipping is part of what people do. Here in the UK, we don't normally tip. I mean, you get people who travel a lot will tip. So, so that's sort of my bugbear there. Now, when it comes to phone calls, and this is what I've been going through for the last couple of months, is I want to speak to a human being. I don't want to phone up, have to have like a minute, 2 minute message telling me the quickest way to get hold of us is via our website, blah, 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 blah. If you'd like to select one of the following options, you then have 6 options. You select one, it then drops you into another one, goes, the best way to deal with your inquiry is for you to actually go to our website. I don't want to go to your damn website, okay? I want to speak to a human being that I want to know has understood exactly what I want to say. I've tried websites in the past. There is never something that perfectly fits what I want. And I want the answer, and I want it when I ask the question. I don't want someone will get back to you within 48 hours. That's not cutting it for me, kid. I need this form filled in now. So then you usually go through to another one. You've selected something. It says, right, could you please enter your policy number or your account number or something? That's totally fine. Get that. Absolutely. It's part of Data Protection Act. I understand they're identifying you. So gone through, I've given them my name, my postcode, I've given them the account number, and I've got through. And then it says, select one of the following categories. And I'm like, dear goodness, again. So I have to select something, even though I've said it before, because some of those, you don't even get to select a category, you have to say a word. Like one of the ones that's got me is, they said, and what is the subject of your call? Please answer in 1 sentence or less. And I've said, bereavement. Wouldn't that be the word you're looking for? Because I'm trying to talk to the bereavement team. Doesn't recognise you. In the end, I'm having to go dead, death, lost. Death apparently is the word they're looking for. And then they say, if please wait 1 minute, we'll be adding you to the queue. So then I'm, or the line or the wait list. And then after that, it's like, you are 7th in the queue. We apologise, but our lines are busy. We will get back to you as shortly as possible. Then you've got to listen to this flipping awful music that's on loop again and again and again. And it's like, you are now 6th in line. I can assure you it's not a quick process. So eventually you get through to somebody, and what's the first thing they do? Can I have your policy number, your postcode and your last name? I've already given it to you. That was the system, you need to give it to me. So why the hell did you ask for it before? At this point, I'm equally annoyed, but I'm trying not to take it out on the person who's picked up the phone. They are only doing their job. They are representing their company in the way they have been trained. Although I'd like an apology for, sorry you've waited for so long. Some of the calls I waited for 40 to 50 minutes on the phone before I got to speak to someone. Then when you get to talk to them, they're like, oh, we'll have to pass you on to the bereavement team, or we'll pass you on to the claims team. Or but I've already told you what I was doing. Why the heck didn't I go there in the first place? So anyway, breathe, Griffiths, breathe. Anyway, one of the companies, I'm not going to name companies, it'd be wrong. This is a generic rant about customer service as far as I'm concerned. So the guy said, I cannot deal with this at the moment. I will pass your details on to our bereavement team. They will be in contact with you. And I went, okay, that's fine, as long as I know the process is going forward. 3 days later, I had a 9-page form arrive on my door to fill out. First of all, I went into meltdown because I don't do forms. I tried reading my way through the form. They required so many things. Some of them actually had to come from solicitors. Some had to be legal copies, which is fine. It's part of the process. I get it. But at the end of it, it says, if you're having any problems or have any questions about this form, please call this number. I went, thank goodness for that. If I can have someone on the end of the form, and as I'm working my way through the form, tell me which name is supposed to be here, whether it's mine or my recently deceased sister, it just says name. Whose name? Anyway, there were things I needed to know. So I went, right, okay. Rang up the phone, through the first set of options, right, and went to the second set of options, eventually got to the third set of options, and got through to this person. And I went, okay, I believe this is the helpline for the bereavement team. And he went, no. I went, but that's what it says on the letter. He said, yes, I'm not qualified to answer any of those questions. All questions have to be submitted by email. I went, but the form tells me. He said, yes, but that's not how we do it. I went, so why is it? I was getting nasty now at this point, because I'm like, but why tell me to phone up for help? I've waited for 40 to 50 minutes to speak to you to only be told that I have to email. What is going on here when you've told me I can phone her? Yeah, we don't accept phone calls, queries. We only accept email queries. So I went, okay, thank you. Trying to be as polite as I could to this person, not their fault. They are legally not allowed to advise. However, whoever wrote that flipping form needs to sort it out. So luckily enough, under the telephone number was a section that said, or you could email your questions too. So I went in. Now, my questions would have been easy if I was on the phone. But knowing that someone is actually going to read this email and go, well, what form is he talking about? So I had to then note the title of the page and the section and the question before I could actually ask my question to get the answer. So anyway, set that off. Took 2 days for the answer to come back. And the answer was, someone will call you. Really, people? Really? So anyway, so this person called as promised on the day, and in the morning of the day they said they were going to, and she was a lovely lady. She said, I'm really sorry for your loss. That was one of the first words after clarifying who I was. And I was like, thank you. Someone's actually apologized that I'm going through this, and they realize I'm going through this. So she said, okay, I've got your list of questions here. I'm willing to go through them question by question. If you've got the form in front of you, we can deal with all of that now. So I went, okay. So I went through the whole form with her, and then there were like 9 pieces of evidence I had to get. And one of them was actually, I had to send either a grant of probate, a proof of administration, or there was one other legal thing. And I didn't know which one it was supposed to be, which was one of my questions. Which one do you need? The estate is not going to probate, so I won't have probate. But because this is dealing with stuff financially, does your company require it to go via probate? And she said, actually, you don't need any of those. I'm like, what? So I've been stressing out trying to work out how I get to my solicitor to make sure that all the paperwork's done and legally done, for her to say, no, you don't need that. And I went, but you've listed it here. She said, oh yeah, that's just a generic form. I'm like, well, you know, the generic form is not helping me. I said, so you've asked for 9 pieces of evidence. What do you actually need? She needed 4 things. She said, if you can get those done, she said, you can either send originals or get them as certified copies. I got certified copies. There's no way I'm sending my original birth certificate to anyone, because the turmoil of getting one back again, and they're very good. They do send all your documents back. It's not them I'd have a problem with. It's the British Postal Service. It may not get to them in the first place. And if you've sent it recorded, all the Postal Service is going to go is, sorry, it's been lost in transit. And I'm like, but it was recorded. Yeah, we can't find it. Bad customer service, post office people. Anyway, So I'm now crossing my fingers that all is happening. But every single company I've called up, you have to go through all of this rigmarole just to speak to a human being. I get it. I understand why a lot of elderly people are not maybe claiming all of the things they're allowed to claim to support their life. I can understand why some people have never got to a doctor, because goodness knows in Britain, you try getting a doctor's appointment, not easy. I should speak as Wales, because Wales is part of the UK, but we have different regulations. But on the whole, customer service sucks. I will go to a supermarket or a grocery store. I will buy my belongings and I will go to checkout. Now, there have been times when that checkout person has been on a mobile and she started scanning stuff through, or he, let's not be sexist, and I'm like, are you going to go off your phone? And she hasn't even made eye contact with me. She's done all of that, and she goes, tells me the price, and then keeps on talking. And I'm like, I've walked away and left it on the conveyor belt. Don't treat me like that. That's not right. If I'm in line to purchase something and I'm on the phone, when I get to the cashier, the first thing I do is go, sorry, do you mind if I call you back? I've got a cashier here. Or if my phone goes while I'm at the cashier, I will pick my phone up and go, listen, sorry, I'm busy. Can I call you back in 2 minutes? I'm at the supermarket. Bang. I will respect the person doing their job because that's who I was brought up to be. I expect them to do the same for me. The amount of times I've gone to like a clothing store or a sports store or just a store that's not a supermarket or a grocery store, and I picked up something, gone to the checkout, and there's two checkout people actually stood at the desk just chatting. I'm stood there. I'm stood there. I'm stood there. I'm no longer stood there because I put my clothes down and walked out. It's as if they treat you as if you're doing them a favour by giving them a reason for standing there. It's horrible the way customer service is nowadays. Now, I am making blanket across the board statements here. There are also examples of brilliant customer service. Let's see. I will name this one because they are brilliant. We have a company in Britain called Saga, S-A-G-A. I now have my car insurance with them. I have my travel insurance with them. I think I'm about to transfer my house insurance with them because when they pick up the phone, you can tell they're not on a clock. They're like, how are you doing? They'll chat, they'll talk. It's like the cruise line I now prefer to go on cruises with against all of the other cruise lines I've been through is Holland America. And why is that? Because they gave me such brilliant service. I've been back and forth to them now for probably 5 or 6 years as cruise vacations. And I'm at the point now where they will call me up a couple of days before my cruise to make sure everything's all right and in place. They will call me a couple of days after the cruise and go, so Ceri, how did it go? Is there anything you need to let us know about? I know it's customer service. I know they're trying to butter me up to make sure that I book another cruise. They had me at the, hello Ceri, how are you doing today? It's just, I don't expect a lot. I just expect courtesy, service, good manners, efficiency. That's kind of what I'm looking for. It's just awful. The amount of people who don't make eye contact with you. Goodness knows some would say, please, thank you, or can you have a nice day, or enjoy the rest of the day. I didn't, where's it gone? Where has it gone? It's just, it's awful. So anyway, that's 24 minutes of me ranting on. So that was the topic for today, guys. It's just, I think it's appalling that we have lost the customer service that we used to have, the standard of customer service we used to have. I think it may come back as time goes by, but I'm sorry, maybe I've just been spoiled. Maybe it's a generational thing and I'm just old. But I do expect common courtesy, good service. If I'm going in to a restaurant and I'm ordering 3 courses of food from you with maybe a glass of wine, and I'm with somebody or group of people, I know that that bill, that check, is not going to be small. It's me as a customer who's enabling that business to run. So don't you think you should be nice to us? I have power, and the power is where I spend my money. If you annoy me or you don't give me good service, I'm very likely to go on social media nowadays and tell the world. If you give me bad service, or you insult me, or you're rude to me, you will never see me again. And I will make sure I tell anyone I can exactly why and where. There is one example, and I'll keep this one small because I don't want to go over half an hour. My mother passed away 6 years ago, but prior to that, she was wheelchair bound towards the end of the days. And I used to take her shopping once a week. And she used to go to a shop here called Aldi's. ALDI, I think it is, and went to the shop one day and Mum was there. Now they didn't have, don't know what they have now because I've never been in the store again since, they didn't have shopping trolleys that clipped onto the front of a wheelchair like most grocery and supermarket stores have. They also had no mechanical wheelchairs or anything, so it was the wheelchair that I took and I pushed along. Totally fine, that was fine. So Mum would always balance a shopping basket on her lap. So did the shop, I always had to do smaller shops because obviously that weight on Mum's lap, she was already disabled, she didn't need to be in pain. I couldn't carry things and push a wheelchair. I would try and hang a basket or something off one of the handles occasionally. It wasn't an easy shop, but that was fine. That's what Mum wanted to do. She liked the fact they had bargains, so she did it. So we got to the checkout and I put everything on the conveyor belt and it was reasonably busy. There were people behind us. No one was pushing and shoving. It's a busy store. So put that little bar at the end saying next customer. Now, wheeled Mum to the other end where the goods would come out so Mum could potentially grab anything she could lift to put back in the basket, because the way the store works is you don't pack at the register. You put everything straight back in your trolley and you go to, there's like a countertop area where you could then pack your goods into your bag. Doesn't make sense to me, but that's the way the store goes. Everyone knows what it is. So here I am. So I'm trying to help Mum get stuff into this basket at the same time, throw things into a shopping bag as well, because I thought, right, there's two of us doing this. If I can just get the heavier items into a carrier bag or a bag for life, loop it over the back of the wheelchair, we'll be fine. And this woman was winging these things through to the point where things began to fall on the floor. And I'm like, can you slow down a bit, please? I'm on my own here. And she said, you're not supposed to be packing at the counter. I went, well, where the heck do you want me to count? I'm here with a wheelchair person. Can you slow down? She said, no, we're not paid to slow down. Things are falling on the floor. So other customers are now coming up and actually picking stuff up and helping me get the stuff off the floor. And in the end, she looked at him and told me the price. And I went, thank you. So I paid for it. And I thought, right. So took Mum over to the bench thing and packed properly and then left. So I told Mum there and then, I'm never coming back to this store. So the other customers in the line were absolutely mortified that this sales assistant had done this. And I'm sure someone would have said something. So anyway, I got home, got Mum in the house, unpacked the shopping, immediately went online, detailed everything, including the server's name, the branch, everything, put it into their customer service, contact us, have you got a complaint part of their website. Sent it off. Never even had recognition. Never had anything come back. This was a disabled person who I was her carer at the time, trying to shop in their store. They didn't even recognize it was a problem. I have never shopped there again. I would never recommend anyone shop at Aldi ever again in my entire life. So anyway, that's nearly half an hour and that's me on my rant. And I forgot to drink my coffee. I told you it was something I get passionate about, guys. Yeah, let's have to think of another one for December that's maybe not so passionate. Anyway, thank you, guys. If I find myself emotionally in the right headspace to explain what happened with my sister's death, I may do a coffee with Ceri about it. It was an awful period of my life, and lots of things happened that I didn't even know could happen. It's just not a good time, and I was caught completely unawares by all of the legal wranglings of an unexpected sudden death. So I will do it if I can, because I think there are lessons to be learned there. Yeah, I think if I can. Anyway, I'm going to say goodbye at this moment in time. Take care of yourselves. It's November. We're 1 month away from the holiday season. For those who celebrate Christmas, happy celebrations to everybody who does whatever celebrations they do around this time of year and any other time of the year, to be honest with you. And thank you. Okay, until next time, guys. Bye-bye now.